Hi, welcome back everybody, it's Mike Newton down here at Lytham Golf Academy. Got another review coming for you today, and it's the Ping G410 LST 3-wood. So it's the low spin 3-wood. We've done a low spin driver review, just managed to get my hands on the 3-wood. Really interested to see how this works. I currently have a low spin Ping driver in my bag, so really interested to see how the low spin works in the 3-wood. We're going to have a little play around with the next setting, reduce the loft, and possibly this could be a club as a little bit of a backup off the tee, as many golfers will probably use it for. But maybe if we can get that low spin, that lower loft, how we can maybe get some real good fairway finders, but some long balls in there also. Okay, so what's happening different with the LST version as opposed to the sort of standard head version? So LST, we see a little bit more of a smaller, compact head. Definitely see that more from the face to the back of the head. It's not quite stretched out through that length of the actual head itself. So a little bit more compact in that front. We've got that tungsten weight, which is positioned at the back, and sometimes you think with that LST, that weight actually is going to come more forward towards the club face. But because the depth of the head has changed, it actually is further forward than what it obviously is in that standard one. So tungsten weight still at the back. It helps a little bit with stability, forgiveness. Still want to keep that aspect in there, but obviously with it moving more forward with the size of the head getting smaller, that is moving the CG a little bit closer to that club head. So it's low and sort of back in relation to this size of head. Put it down by the golf ball, it's lovely, it's nice, it's a beautiful shape, matte black finish. Obviously you've got the turbulators happening on the top. Some of you like that, some of you won't. I don't mind it at all, to be honest. Like I say, I've got the driver, I quite enjoy it. This sort of framed the ball for me. Let's get this first one hit. So it's quite a low profile head, as we see with the Ping Fairway Woods. Very, for me, very easy to sort of launch. And that's a lovely penetrating ball flight. That feels really nice off the club face. I've got this set at the moment is the standard 3-wood, and it only comes in a 3-wood in the LST. So it's 14.5 degree, which is the same loft as the standard 410 fairway. Obviously we've got the 8 adjustment neck sleeve that Ping offers, so there's a lot of different settings here, moving it up and down by up to 1.5 degrees, but also 3 flat set options as well, which I think is a great addition to these for any golfer who tends to hit it up that left hand side, misses a little bit left. The flat lie will play a big part of that. That's nice. Very easy to launch that. And just a look at the spin numbers there, just work that a little bit on that left hand side. But that's a good hit, 275 there with 3-wood. Take that, obviously it has just moved up that left a little bit, so we'll get a little bit more distance through that actual shot shape, and that spun just under 2,800, so 3-wood wise, that's really good. So I think it's maybe as you're going out to purchase a 3-wood, it's what are you actually using it for? Is it more off the tee? Is it more off the fairway for your second shots, maybe long par 4s? Par 5s where you're going to hit it a lot off the ground. I think you've got to make sort of that call, because I think something like an LST just might be a bit tougher to hit from the ground than the traditional 410 head, you know, just with that more compact head CG going more forward. But I think off a tee, with obviously the ball's just popped up a little bit, just gives you that slightly lower spin. Hopefully, again, we're going to look at some numbers there to get that little bit more distance, but obviously then you've got the bit more accuracy because of the loft and the length of the shaft in the actual 3-wood itself. So I think you've got to make that little decision yourself as to where you're going to sort of use it. But again, I think that's the beauty with the neck sleeve. You can move that loft around just to help you if you need that little bit of help. That's nice. Really nice ball flight. Maybe if I'm going to get really picky, fractionally bottom, that's not too bad there, 268. That's got out there, so that's a decent distance with a 3-wood. More than happy, obviously, off the tee there, hitting that sort of distance. You know you're not going to get as far as a driver, but you're still getting out there quite a bit. So I'm just going to make a couple of little adjustments. As I said, that was set at the 14.5 standard setting, standard lie. So I'm actually going to start tinkering this. Going to drop the loft, going to flatten the lie a little bit. I know mine misses a little bit of that left-hand side. Does that flatten the lie, change that and help me? And I want to drop the loft a little bit and see if we can get some real hot ones out there. Right, so I've dropped the loft down by 1 degree. You can go 1.5, but I wanted to put it in the flat setting. So the most you can alter it up or down in the flat setting is by 1 degree. So I've gone 1 degree down to make it 13.5 and in that flat setting, so a little bit flatter. So talking about lie angle there, for a golfer, for me personally, who tends to close the face a little bit more, get that more of that draw, that slight left miss, flattening the line, making that toe go more down, helps to get the club face to point a little bit more squarer or less closed, basically. Obviously, there can be an element of me doing that, whether it's through grip or maybe just too much rotation of the hands, etc., etc. Can obviously affect that, but I've got a club that can maybe potentially help me on it. That's what I'm interested in sort of seeing. So sometimes you look at my height, 6'5". Last thing I want to do is actually go flatter. You know, we think got to be more upright, but it's a little bit different in a fairway wood and obviously a driver. So looking at that, it does look like the toe is more towards the ground as I visually look at it, but it looks fine. Again, it sits really nice. Let's say drop the loft here. Let's be interested to see if we can just lower that spin again. A little bit more of a longer shot, possibly with a loft change, but a little bit more of the direction as well. Oh, that's a lovely flag. That is stunning. Definitely a little bit lower, definitely a little bit penetrating, and that is very straight. Is that a line ball? Is it? Ah, nearly a line ball. So 270, arrowed straight, stronger flight. Very nice. So the question I've got now, do I want to hit another one after I just hit that one? I'm going to have to answer. Okay, let's try and get that repeated. So that was beautiful. If I could have them all like that, golf would be very, or much easier. Oh, again, a little bit more drawy, but not a lot. Again, it's a beautiful flight, definitely more penetrating there. That's a good bit of distance on that, so that's good up to 276. That's really good. Just a little bit of right to left, but nothing major. I think it's a bit more of a visual thing for me as well. As I sit that down, it doesn't look quite as toed in. So in the standard setting, it did look a little bit close. And for me, anything that looks a little bit close scares me because I feel like I'm going to hit it more left on my particular miss. So as I drop the light, it does look to be more square setting. So basically it's more pleasing to my eye as I sit it down. Ah, that's a good hit again. Really good hit. That's definitely not gone left, a little bit up that right. Yeah, so definitely lie. He's just helping me a little bit there. Obviously, I've had a little left one there, but it's not massive. It's playable. That's 272 going up the right, so that's good. Don't mind that at all. Okay, we'll hit one more. That's good. Just a tiny bit bottomy, but that's, again, I like that shape, that little bit of a fraction right shot. I like it because it's not sniping left or trying to move off on my left, especially with that longer stuff, because you know it could be more aggressive. Again, 274, so some good distance there with that particular shot. So let's look at some numbers a little bit more deeply. G410 LST, both 14.5 degrees standard setting and then 13.5 in that flat. Okay, so looking at some numbers. So top three was the standard setting, and then I moved it into the 13.5 in that flat. So 153.8 ball speed, jumping up to 156, so 1 degree strong on the loft. We'll get that ball come off a little bit faster. So that's probably where that bit of ball speed has come from. Obviously launching a fraction lower there, again because more through the loft. Spin's a little bit of a different one, so we've got averaging 3086 in the standard setting. Drop the loft, actually spin's gone up, so again proving more through my strike and face control. So we see the one that went a little bit more left on me, that one at 31 yards left, you see that's going to pull that spin down a little bit more. So if I'm just going to disable that like there, so that takes it out of the averages. So we've got a 3159 and 3354 gives us a 3257, so it's very, very similar there, isn't it? Because obviously I didn't get as many left ones with the flat lie, which I prefer, even though the spin's gone up a little bit. But it's not too high by any means. I tend to spin my fairway woods probably more into the high 3000s. So that's, for me, is a lower spin number, which I'm good on. I'll probably do a separate video with the LST against the standard one, just to get a real good comparison to see if the LST is lower in the spin in comparison to the standard fairway wood. So distance wise, I'll just knock that one back in just to get the numbers back again. So 251 carry in the 14.5, a couple of yards further in the lower loft in the flat lie. but I think more importantly for me, my miss was better. So you can see I was 3 yards left, 31 left, 13 left in the standard. And then there was a 0, that line ball, which was a cracker. And then I did have that 17 left, but then a 17 right, 14 right, which I don't mind. You know, 17 being the worst, I can cope with that. You know, it's hanging onto the fairway, possibly right edge. You know, so they're all in play really, those shots. Okay guys, so there we go, there's the Ping G410 LST, the low spin version. So big differences for me is the compactness of the head, a little bit small, a little bit more compact. So if you like that smaller appearance behind the golf ball, it's probably ticking a box for you. I think apart from that, obviously the look of it, the sort of face, the forged face that we get with the standard ones as well. Got the tungsten weight at the back, even though it's more forward than it is in the standard one. It's very similar on the technology it's sort of offering. Obviously, there's a lot of different shaft options to go and work into, obviously grips as well. But then the important bit is that lie. I think that lie has made a difference there, and I've seen that in previous tests I've done with the driver in that flat lie setting. So for me, with that my left miss, particularly that flat lie setting is great. Vice versa, you've got a bit more of a right miss, you can maybe start to add a little bit more loft and just pop that lie up a little bit more, so it can help also the guy who maybe has that fade or that slice happening there. So very much dialable in, if that's a word, dialing in, yeah. But obviously got get through a fitting process to do that, get measured, get some shot data, compare it like we've done there, and see which setting works for you and gives you the most sort of confidence with it. Okay, let me know your thoughts. LST, is that something you possibly go out and try? A little bit of a low spin version. I think it could be a great driver option, a bit like a mini driver in a way, dropping that loft. A bit more of that fairway finder there, possibly. But I'm going to put this up against the standard one in a video coming very soon, so stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button, very much appreciate it. Ring the bell for future notifications. Follow my social media platforms, both Instagram and Twitter. Handles there are @MNGolfCoach, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.